now every team has played at the World Cup. We're going to be looking at how every Spurs player has played. We're going to start off looking at Scotland in their 1-0 win over Haiti. Andy Robertson captaining the side and putting in pretty established play. I didn't think Scotland were that good in this game. I thought Haiti were unlucky not to take something from the game, but Andy Robertson put in quite an accomplished display, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was a standout, to be honest, for Scotland. I know they're playing Haiti, so they're expected to win this game comfortably, and it was anything but comfortable, wasn't it? Haiti probably could have got something out of this game, but Robertson, I thought, was consistently putting in good deliveries, consistently. I thought he was probably a class above most of the Scotland players, to be honest. A lot of people were saying, looking at how he played, you know, he hasn't declined that much, like especially what you've seen with the quality on the ball. I think, you know, you never really lose that, isn't it? It's more physically, you know, can you get up and down the pitch, and can you get involved in as many duels and all that kind of stuff? Can you outrun a winger who's taking you on? Those are kind of things that what you get exposed for. But I think his quality on the ball was still there for all to see against Haiti.
It says here he had a top speed of 33.5,
which is not bad.
Which is actually decent, you know.
But it's about how many times you can reach that top speed, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. 2 key passes in the game, 2 out of 5 accurate crosses, 71% passing accuracy, only 1 unsuccessful touch, 1 out of 1 dribble success. And he did this like cheeky maneuver where like they're doing a time limit on how long you can take a throw in for, but it only starts when you pick up the ball. So he kept the ball on the floor, and he was ordering around his teammates, and he took quite some time doing it. And then he picked up the ball, and the countdown started, and he threw the ball. So he got away around this thing that they've started doing.
So we've got a loophole finder as well. That's also what you're getting paid for. Unbelievable. Yeah, look, I was fairly encouraged. Obviously, he's got bigger tests. He's got Brazil and Morocco to come. So we're going to see really what, you know, up against the, I don't know who's going to be up against for Brazil, but anyway, he's going to be up against a lot better players when he faces those teams. So let's see how he plays in those games.
Yeah, absolutely. So next up, we shall look at the Netherlands boys. Let's start off with Mickey van de Ven. Look at that heat map, classic. Mickey at left back.
Yeah, I wasn't actually that impressed with him at left back, I have to say. He got forward all right, but I actually thought he was getting found out a bit on that right-hand side. I actually thought they targeted him a bit, which I was surprised about. I thought they were getting a lot more joy down his side than they were down the other side. Albeit they also did that, to be fair, they also did get a bit of joy out of Dumfries as well. But there was a few times he was getting spun and he was getting played in behind. I think majority of the time he had it under control. But when you look at Mickey, you think surely no one's getting past him. You know, he's going to have that side on lock. And he far from it, to be honest. I think he looked a bit uncomfortable there, to be honest, which is weird to say, but I thought he did.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there were good moments and bad moments in there from Mickey. I think... they definitely were. He was found wanting a couple of times in defence, but he was also able to get the team forward a little bit. I mean, in the second half, I thought he was giving a licence to get forward a bit more. And it says here, his top speed was 31.7, which is below Robertson.
Yeah, I don't think he fully ever went into... he never really put on the afterburners, I got the feeling. When going forward, he didn't really have to. So, yeah, it didn't have as much space to play in maybe as Robertson. But yeah, interesting there. No one would ever have predicted that. Yeah, Van de Ven with a less top speed. But yeah, I think they're going to persist with him in this position, I think. And he even played wing back as well for the last 20 minutes. But again, I thought that change negatively impacted the Dutch team. And when they went to a back three, Japan were overloading them. And I thought... he struggled at a wing back as well.
Who did perform well though, I thought, is Jan-Paul van Hecker. I thought he was really strong in defence. Look at that heat map, very aggressive in the middle of the park there from Jan, and now
very high starting position. You can see that very high
you
position.
Could see, and he was so dominant as well. Won all of his duels in the game. 3 out of 3 ground duels, 2 out of 2 aerial duels. And I was thinking, like, these guys that were at the back for the Netherlands, you had him, Van Dijk, Van de Ven, Dumfries, they're all such big lads. And the Japanese team are just nowhere near as, as tall as them. So I think in the air they had a pretty easy day, to be honest.
One other moment we didn't talk about for Van der Ven is he kept everyone on side for the goal
yeah,
as well,
that's
but
true,
that was poor. If you watch it back, everyone moved up but him, and he didn't, and that was poor. But Van Hecker,
The deflection went off him, didn't
the
it?
deflection did go off him. Obviously, he was playing with that big bruise on his eye for a lot of the
what
game.
happened there?
He probably got a hit. He said he got a hit in the first half, and actually, he said near the end of the game it was starting to affect his vision. So maybe that could have that should have negatively impacted him. What I would say is, which we picked up on the game. I thought first half he was playing a bit tentatively. He wasn't playing his usual line-breaking passes. He was kind of leaving that to Van Dijk. And I think second half I think got talking to, and he started punching those passes. And I thought he was very impressive in that second half and started to really ask different questions with his passing of the Japan national Japan
He nearly
team.
scored as well.
Nearly scored from a header, and I thought he was super dominant. I thought he was one of the outstanding players for the Dutch team. I thought he played really well in the end and was really good defensively, and I thought grew into the game on the ball. But yeah, was unlucky with the goal that deflected off him.
So yeah, more to come from the Dutch boys. Let's move on and let's go to talk about Sweden, as Lucas Bergvall came on, grabbed an assist, if you can even call it assist. I mean, he played it to Ayari, but Ayari had so much to do at that point. But look, World Cup debut, getting an assist. Sweden's youngest ever player at a World Cup to have an assist as well. So I didn't see the game. I just saw highlights from the game, but I heard he had a good performance.
Yeah, he came on for their number 10, so was playing in a bit more of an advanced position. Obviously, the game was already pretty much wrapped up at that point. I think it was 3-1 by the time he came on. But yeah, put himself about. The assist pretty much was him winning a tackle with falling to Ayari and him smashing it in from 25 yards. But it was from his industrious, way of playing, getting around the pitch, putting his foot in, which obviously led to it. It's a fair play to him. He didn't have, didn't do too much, but did his bit.
Yeah. Just looking at the stats, just one dribble, successful. He wasn't on the pitch for too long. One tackle, which was pretty much his assist, I think. So Lucas Bergvall, big up to him. Pedro Porro didn't get on the pitch for Spain against Cape Verde, and I'm thinking, this is why they didn't win, because they're not playing Pedro Porro.
Yeah,
why are they not playing Pedro Porro?
He's the kind of player you want in these kind of games as well. Great delivery, maybe got a chance to shoot from range. Didn't get the fact he didn't get any minutes is very shocking. Yeah,
I'm sure they'll turn to him in the next game. Another one that had a bit of a disappointing day was Uruguay against Saudi. They drew 1-1. Rodrigo Bentancur playing the duration, 90 minutes, getting around the pitch as he usually does. 2 key passes on the day, 4 sprints, 1 tackle, 5 out of his 6 ground duels, 1. From the stats, it looks like a fairly dominant performance in the middle.
Yeah, I thought I was watching parts of it. He was one of their better players, Uruguay. I don't think it was a perfect display, but I thought Uruguay were actually really disappointing, to be honest. I thought under Bielsa, they're going to be a bit swashbuckling, hustle them, a bit of rock and roll football, but never really got to that level. I think Saudi were actually very easily containing them. But I thought Bentancur was one of the ones trying to implement that kind of style, and he was showing a bit more quality than most of our other players, and there was no surprise that Ugarte was the one they took off and not Bentancur, because he was much better.
I mean, I haven't been impressed watching Ugarte play since he left Sporting Lisbon. I think he's been shocking. But, I mean, he is a massive fan of Bentancur, the manager. Massive fan of him. And he thinks he can play in the 10, in the 8, in the 6, wherever he wants. But ever since I've seen Uruguay play since he's taken over, I haven't seen this kind of Bielsa ball at all. I mean, maybe it's because I mainly watched the games against Argentina. And they're obviously playing a better team, so they need to be a bit more defensive. But I do see a very aggressive team, a team that fly into challenges, and a team that are very resolute.
Yeah, and just it wasn't a great performance on this occasion.
So Uruguay, they need to get better in the tournament. They weren't that good. Obviously a draw against the Saudis. Next up, let's go to Argentina. They had a 3-0 win against Algeria. Cuti Romero getting taken off, I think, on the 80th minute or something.
He was taken off 10 minutes ago, yeah. Obviously still nursing a bit of an injury coming into the tournament. Had a pretty solid game. Obviously, this was the Messi show, but I thought he was pretty dominant. Algeria had very little. I thought interesting. Obviously, him and Martinez, they're now got the partnership. Obviously, he partnered Otamendi at the last World Cup, and Otamendi was one who came on for him. But yeah, he was good. Some mixed reports I've seen from Argentinian sources saying they didn't think he was that great, but didn't really do much wrong.
It seems like he got overshadowed by Martinez a little bit because apparently Martinez had an absolutely storming game.
Yeah, I think they both play. I think Martinez was slightly better, but they both were pretty solid, I thought, and they just facilitated Messi just doing Messi.
That's one hell of an aggressive back two, though, isn't it? Martinez and Romero together. Like, wow. But he won 3 out of his 6 ground duels, 1 out of his 1 aerial duels, made 2 fouls on the day. 5 defensive contributions. Next up, let's look at where's the Austria game? Who did Austria play again?
Jordan. It was just after the Argentina game, right next to each other.
Oh, yeah, there we go. 3-1. Kevin Danso didn't start the game, but I think he came on with...
on the hour, yeah.
Yeah, with half an hour to go for David Alaba. I literally did not see even the highlights of this game, not a kick. So nice to see Kevin Danso get on the pitch. 3 out of his 3 ground duels won, and helped Austria get their win.
Yeah, and that's the kind of role he doesn't always start for Austria. They prefer other players for some reason, but pretty reliable player whenever he does play for them. I wouldn't be surprised. He does like to rotate his centre backs, Ragnick, so I wouldn't be surprised if he starts other games.
Yeah, look, good 3 points for them. Who's in their group? So they've got Algeria and Argentina. So yeah, they've got a good shout of making it through into the latter stages.
Yeah, once you if you win your first game, you're like 80, you're like 90% there.
Pape Matar, no minutes for him as well. I mean, he has really dropped out of favour for them, hasn't he?
Yeah,
like they barely use him now.
Which, I mean, they do have good players in those positions. They've got Lamine Camara, Papagay, Idrissa Gueye. So they do have some good players there. But you would have thought you'd get some minutes. And there was a point where he was one of their most relied on players. He was scoring goals for them. And that's just not happening anymore. And obviously coincided with some poor form for Spurs as well. So it's not working out at the moment for Pape. I really hope he gets an opportunity in this tournament, though.
Yeah, I mean, Senegal actually played well in that game, didn't they? They played well, but France were just too good in that second half. And last but not least, we'll look at the England game last night. Obviously, 4-2 to England. Tottenham players on either side. First up, Jed Spence, who had a really nice cameo, I thought, when he came on. Really direct. He really showed his pace. Nearly scored as well. If he would have scored, that would have been fantastic for him. But, look, massive credit to Jed Spence. A lot of people questioning his inclusion in the squad with, like, Lewis Hall missing out and Trent missing out and, a lot of big names missing out. But I think he performed really well.
Yeah, he maybe shut up a few people with a little cameo, but he was saying as well, he was the fastest player in the squad. A lot of people were laughing, and he definitely showed that pace a few times. Speed. There you go. He showed a few people, especially that chance where he got in on goal. That speed, and obviously he was involved in the 4th goal, wasn't he?
It was mad, that chance, because he won the ball at like right back position. And then I looked down at something and I looked up and you were like, whoa,
it's from goal.
Spence was right there. I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Don't know how he got that. Was probably where he used his top speed. He was also involved in the 4th goal, getting involved in that challenge, and it fell to Saka, and obviously they went on and Rashford sealed the game. I thought it was a really good cameo, and I think that's part of the reason he's brought on. I think not only is pace confronting in those kind of positions when you're in the lead and counter-attacks, but also I think potentially in the bigger games, I wouldn't be surprised if he does start, because when you've got the likes of Yamal and Messi or whatever, I reckon Tuchel might turn to him to shut them down, because he might be more likely than who we got there now, O'Reilly.
There was a point in the game I was telling you, I was calling for Spence to come on, and not long after he did bring on Spence, and he performed very well. But we need to talk about Luka Vuskovic. We need to talk about Luka Vuskovic.
Hooked on the hour, was it?
Yeah, a bit of a stinker and hooked. I felt like he was at fault for 2 of the goals that England scored on the day. The first one, the header for Kane, I thought he needs to be doing better there against Kane. He was like nowhere near, and it felt like he was his man. So there was that, and there was the Bellingham one as well, where he just goes walkabouts. So yeah, defensively, he definitely showed himself up a little bit, but there were good things in there as well. Let's not get away from that, because the goal that Croatia scored, or one of the goals that Croatia scored, he starts the move, and I thought he started it really well.
Yeah, the first one, I believe.
Yeah, it was the first one with a challenge and a pass. And also, when Croatia did have those spells of possession, it looked like he was central to that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much sums up what people have been saying about Vuskovic. I think clearly a confident player, not afraid to go to fly into challenges, even against big senior players and players who like Bellingham or Kane. He's not afraid of them. You can see that. He was doing some really good stuff. I thought for the first half, he was pretty good. I know they did score from the corner. He kind of got caught under the ball, but, you know, it can happen. And I thought on the ball, so confident, not afraid to spray passes. That was that one brilliant pass, didn't he? I know Pickford ended up sweeping up in behind, but he played this brilliant over-the-top ball on his left foot, which Musa nearly ran onto. As you say, for Croatia's opener, brilliant challenge and then pass into Musa, which got the obviously the ball rolling for the goal. So that was really, really good from Vuskovic. So he showed that he's confident and he clearly has something about him. But he also definitely showed he has a lot of learning to do. And I think it was obviously the goal. Oh, that was just, I don't know what he was doing for the goal. I've seen it back. He's got Bellingham to his left. Bellingham is... Bellingham's got a player behind him, but all he has to do is stay goal side of Bellingham, and he restricts him. I know he's got Madueke there, but
got distracted by the decoy run. That's
he did, but you've got to be organised your defence. I think he's the one closer to Bellingham, so he's got to go to Bellingham and get his right back to go follow Madueke, or even get a defender to the left of him covering over. You can't leave Bellingham in that position, running in on goal to have a free shot. I also think maybe he didn't back himself to catch up with Bellingham. Maybe that was also part of the reason he thought, I'm not quick enough. I'm going to go to Madueke because I'm not quick enough to keep up with Bellingham. That's got to be a worry there. It was just really poor, that defending. And as well, I think there was a reason he got taken off, because that period England were absolutely chance after chance, and Vuskovic was kind of looking left and right, and he didn't know what to do at that point, and he was really struggling, and I think he got taken off probably at that point because he was really struggling to keep up with our attack at that point. It was wave after wave. Obviously, it wasn't just him. The whole team was kind of crumbling, and they should have really conceded about 3 goals, Croatia, at that point. Yeah. But yeah, I think that lack of experience did kind of suffer. He suffered for it at that point.
Yeah, I think there was a large portion of the game though where I felt just he didn't look out of place. I thought he was performing pretty well. It was just when England got on top, he did struggle. It is true. So for the first half, I thought it was decent. I thought he had a good display in the first half, and then I think maybe a bit out of his depth in the second half when England really turned the screw. But yeah, look, hasn't changed my mind too much on Vuskovic. Well, it's changed my mind in the sense that I'm happy we got Van Hecker in now. But hasn't changed my mind in the sense that...
So based on that, you're ready to put Vuskovic straight in?
Yeah, and I think judging by that, I don't think he's ready.
Yeah, I think it's hard to
It's
really,
one game.
It is one game, but he's playing against a level opposition like England, where that's the kind of level in the Premier League. That's what the level. I'm obviously not. It's always not going to be England, but
also if you play games, look, I always thought that could have been a case. We've spoken about it many a time, but the more he plays at that level, I think the more adept he'll get to that level as well, and the quicker he'll get there.
Of course, and look, it's all going to be a learning curve. Also, you got to remember he was playing the back 3 yesterday. So in theory that should have helped him a bit more, but he still kind of struggled. He is obviously playing one of the best nations at the World Cup as well. So that's, it's tough for a learning curve for a 19-year-old. But to be fair, he has played against Kane before. It's nothing new. He actually had a great game against Kane for Hamburg. I remember he scored, and he had a really good game that one. That time they drew 2-2. So, yeah, look, it's a learning curve, a harsh one maybe for him. I wonder if it makes a lot of Tottenham fans rethink their positions on Vuskovic. Not in terms of selling him. I don't think anyone really wants to sell him. But a lot of people were like, well, we gained Van Hecker, just put Vuskovic in. And clearly, the reality is if we're gonna If De Zerbi is saying he wants Champions League football next season, that's where he wants to compete.
There was no doubt in anyone's mind, I don't think, that Van Hecker is the better player right at this moment in time. I think people know that. I was agreeing with you when you were saying that, but I just think like.
Well, you said you wouldn't want to spend the money.
Correct, I did say that, but I also said that Van Hecker is the better player right now. I agreed with you when you said that. No doubt about it. But I just think the upside of playing Luka Vuskovic could have far outweighed it, because this guy, I still believe, he's an unbelievable talent, and he will get there, and he'll get there by playing games. That's how he's going to get there.
Yeah, there is just one concern I think with Vuskovic, and that is that lack of pace. And
Van Hecker's got a lack of pace as well.
I don't think it's as bad as Vuskovic. I think Van Hecker is not slow. I don't think he's slow. I think Vuskovic might be slow. That's what I'm worried about.
I'm not sure. I mean, yesterday he didn't look particularly fast or anything like that. But look, it's a small sample size.
What was his top speed? Did it say? Doesn't say.
Doesn't say for him. Top speed 29.7.
And Van Hecker?
Let's go to Van Hecker's. Van Hecker 31.0. So, I mean, not that much in it.
I mean, it's a couple of this level. That is pretty significant.
Yeah.
29 is pretty slow.
It is pretty slow.
So that's a concern. I'm not saying you can't improve it, but that's something like, if you don't have that, if that can't be improved significantly, that's got to be a concern.
I think it doesn't concern me at this stage. I think maybe if he's still like that in a couple of years, then maybe. But right now, my opinion really, I still think Luka Vuskovic is headed right to the top. And I think at 19, World Cup debut, I think you're going to have mishaps. You're going to have stuff like that happening. You're not the fully formed player yet. So I think he showed at times during the game he's well at home at that level. And the more he plays at this level, the better he's going to get. And also, even if you're not blessed with the biggest amount of pace, there are ways you could get around that.
Of course, you can adapt, but you have to adapt to it. Obviously, you have to be good enough to do that. I'm not saying he's not. It's just that is obviously just the biggest concern. Could that lack of pace be what stops him from being a truly elite defender at the very best clubs, or just someone who's a very good defender? Obviously, it's too early to say that. He's 19. Most centre backs don't even, get into their own until they're like 25, let alone, in their 20s. So he's got a long way to go in terms of. Look, he might be Saliba became Arsenal signed centre back at 21, I think. So there are exceptions, but most centre backs, usually they're a bit older when they start breaking into the first team.
Yeah, but look, that is how the Spurs players got on at the World Cup. Who has been the standout performer so far for Spurs at the World Cup? I mean,
maybe Van Hecker.
Van Hecker, yeah. Just because he started. I mean, if Spence would have put in that performance when he started, it probably would have been him. But probably is Van Hecker. But he's not even a Spurs player yet. So.
Yeah, well, true. Got the here we go. It's good enough.
Is it?
Yeah, true. Who knows?
Is it?
Why you getting worried?
Well, I haven't put him in signed yet, so I'm not.
No, that's right. You shouldn't put him in signed yet. But
I think I am worried. Yeah, I'm not worried because I'm worried because of what happened last season. It's more PTSD than anything else. I do think it will happen. I do think he's a Spurs player.
It's happening.
But after last summer, can never be so sure.
You can never be too sure. You're absolutely right about that.
So look, let us know in the comment section below who was your standout Spurs player after round 1 in the World Cup. We'll bring this back after each and every round of the World Cup. Now we are going to look at 8